I have briefly talked about this in one of my previous videos from like way back when it first came out, but I'll just go over a specific guide just for Mystic Gear. And I can't really talk about Mystic Gear without going into Crystal Gear because you need Crystal 5. So I'll just show you guys a short example. So I'll just go to Fate Trickster, for example. I have maxed out Crystal 5s. And pretty much from here, what you want to do is once you have it leveled up all the way, you can upgrade it at the Forge. And the thing that sucks about upgrading this at the Forge, I'll show you what happens with my Shadow Hunter, for example. So all these classes are maxed out with everything up to Crystal 5. And then with my Shadow Hunter, as you can see, I went up 1 power rank. So if I go to my bow, I upgraded that once. It's at 0 stars. That's how you get Mystic. And you only go up by 1 power rank and your stat stays the exact same. It's very dumb. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why they never gave us an extra stat or extra power rank. It would make sense if they gave us more power rank with that. And then maybe that way we could have gotten to 50,000 power rank. But for now, this is the max power rank. And once you actually have a Mystic, then you can start leveling it up, get your power rank, and get your stat increases. And if you're curious about all of the stats, all the possibilities, all the power rank, and all that good stuff, I'll leave a link to a spreadsheet by Summer in the description down below. So feel free to check that out. So now that you know how to get Mystic Gear, just by taking a Crystal 5 to a Forge and upgrading it, and we already saw the upgrading cost. So now the important thing is, how do we get Crystal 5? So if you're an endgame player, or if you have the ability to hit 45,000 power rank, all you have to do is switch to a class that has 45,000 power rank minimum, and then you open these boxes and there's a chance you can get a Crystal 5. And the cool thing about these boxes is that you can get them at 2 star, and if you're super lucky at 3 stars. The box method is really good. I remember in my previous video I talked about keeping these, but you don't have to do that. You're gonna get so many later on. You're gonna farm passively. Maybe you'll farm gem boxes. Whatever the case is, you're gonna stack up on these boxes, and there are ways to get these boxes. If you want to, I can go over a whole video on how to get the most amount of these boxes, but that's besides the point. So for end gamers, you can use this box. There's a chance you can get a Crystal 5 from it. And the thing about opening those boxes is that you have a chance of getting the weapon, hat, or face. Most people I've talked to have gotten more weapons than any other stuff, and that's what happened to me. I got more weapons than I did anything else. So if I opened on Fate Trickster, I would only get staffs for the weapon, and if I open this on Shadow Hunter, I would just get the bows. For the weapon portion, you can still get the hat or the face. And just be careful when opening them, because if you open them on Boomeranger, for example, he has 2 weapons he can use. So that's going to be either the melee or the bow. So if you're looking to get one of those, I highly recommend just picking a different class. If you have to, you can move all of your gems over, all of your gear over to whatever class of the weapon type that you want, and you can try your luck that way. If you have a Boomeranger that's 45k and you're trying to get, I don't know, let's just say the melee, for example, you can switch to a melee class, but you have to swap over all the gear and all that stuff. So I don't know, you can switch over to like Knight, for example, and you can have him open all this stuff. You get the Crystal 5, that's cool. Then you can just move it over to Boomeranger. All this stuff back over. And when you do open these boxes, just know that you can go a stack without getting one. Sometimes you might get 2 within 3,000 boxes. I believe the average was 1 Crystal 5 every about 3,000 boxes you opened. The average varies from person to person. It's very random, and if you do open these, I recommend doing it 1,500 at a time. Just don't open the entire stack all at once. You can just hold control and move them over, or whatever that would be on console. You can just do like, I don't know, I wouldn't do 100, but you can do like, I don't know, I'll just say 1,000, for example. Just the RNG is really weird on these boxes. I don't know why it's like that. Just, it was like that for me and some other people, so it's just something to note. Now I'm going to move on to other methods. So let's say you're not 45,000 power rank, but you still want to get to Mystic Gear, and you still can do this. So I'm going to go in order. We're already at this area over here, so I'll just go over this method. So if we go over here to the Gear Crafting Forge, you can actually craft yourself a Crystal 4. And you might be wondering, well, I thought you needed a Crystal 5. Well, you can get them from this. The RNG is very random on this. So I crafted 70 of the hat one time, and I was able to get 4 hats. I've also heard about people crafting 40 of them, and they never got one. The RNG should be pretty good for you on this, but like I said, it depends on person to person. And the cool thing about this method is that if you need something specific, like a face, a hat, or a specific weapon, you can craft it, and you can see if you can get lucky. And if you do craft it, I recommend doing more than 1. So like at least minimum 10. You can try 10. I know it's going to cost a ton of block of elements to even get this far, and that's what you're going to have to work towards if you want to get Crystal 5 and eventually Mystic, and that's if you're not 45k powering. So you do have the option. The minimum requirement for even crafting it is you have to be 30k power rank, and I'd say that's pretty achievable. If you're stuck, I have guides on how to get more power rank, but you have to be 30k power rank, and if you do get a Crystal 5 drop from that, it usually comes at 1 star, so that's pretty handy. I think it differs. It might be 0 to 1 star, but you do have that option. And the other requirement is you have to go to the Gearcrafter Terminus and unlock this node over here. So you have to kind of go in order. The Annoying part about these nodes is that these big circles are kind of like a key. So once you unlock it, then you have to actually upgrade it. So there's an unlock and then an upgrade, if that makes sense. So it's pretty much 2 times for each thing until you get to that point. There's a limit on how many of these nodes you can get. And just know that if you do reset it, you do not get your block of elements back. I'm just showing you guys a way to get Crystal 5 without being 45k powering. So with this method, you just have to be 30k. And there's a couple more methods. The other one is delves. If you farm 115 and higher, I'm not going to go into a delve and find one because the odds of getting a Crystal 5 from there is very, very low. But what I will recommend is if you ever try to farm Ifera for the perma torches, maybe you can consider farming them at 115 or higher. I mean, you kind of have to if you're doing Ifera. But as you're trying to get perma torches, maybe you can open up the vaults and see if you can get a Crystal 5 that way. It is possible. I've seen it. Seen some people get it at depth 120-ish. And if you're unable to solo it, I do know on Fridays, usually when it's nighttime for me, so if you're from EU, it's probably like early in the morning. I want to say maybe around 2 to 3 a.m. EST. There's a guy named Mr. Clunkers, and he usually hosts Ifera runs, and he does it every Friday. He's been pretty consistent about it. He's a really chill guy. He will let you in as long as he's not full. If he's full, then it's gonna be kind of hard to kind of sort through everybody. But it's also a great way to get your weeklies in case you don't want to solo it or if you don't have portals. But yeah, he's Mr. Clunkers on Twitch. And for the final method of getting Crystal 5, you can get them from 5-star dungeons over in D14 in Geo Topside, or you can get it in Longshade. But there's a catch. You can't just get it from doing dungeons. It has to be from 5-star dungeons. So when you're doing the 5-star dungeons, just break the chests, and there's a chance that you can get a Crystal 5 drop from those chests. And with this requirement, you're gonna need 30k powering, so that's pretty much the minimum requirement to even get access to Mystic gear, because you could be 30k, you can get your Crystal 5, upgrade that all the way, and then get to Mystic. And if you do manage to upgrade your Crystal 5 all the way, upgrading it to Mystic is going to be very challenging because you have to have this specific key, and you have to run the Depths Delve, which starts you at 170. So not only is it hard to solo, you need a group. I mean, it's better to have a group. You need one of these 2 keys, and in order to get the fragments for these keys, you have to make it to Longshade. You can imagine how difficult it would be, because let's just say you have a maxed out crystal set. You're not going to get these Soul of the Depths any other way. You have to do those delves. Unless, if you guys remember from the Heckbug event, you were able to get these Soul of the Depths daily. So you could wait for an event that possibly has them. The other 2 are tradable, so at least there's that option. Yo, Cash and Clean from the future here. You can also get the Soul of the Depths from the Runic Trunk boxes, but if you're brand new, you won't be able to get those boxes. But I just wanted to tell you guys about that option as well. But the Soul of the Depths, these things are going to be very tricky, and you need about 5, I think it was 5 or 6,000, I can't remember. Pretty sure it was around 5,000 to max out one piece. So it's pretty difficult. And I didn't mention this, but if you do get it from delves or from 5-star dungeons, it will be at level 0, the Crystal 5. At least I've never gotten it from a delve. I'm pretty sure it comes at level 0. But regardless, you guys get the point. Upgrading Mystic is a massive pain. A lot of people pretty much quit at that point, or they might try to max out one character and they're pretty much done. So if you are a brand new player, a returning player, or a mid-game player, and you're kind of struggling, just know that you guys aren't alone, and know that there's probably a lot of people that already quit and didn't get to max out their Mystic gear. So you do have a chance to catch up, and I'm sure in the future they're going to make it a little bit easier to farm. I don't know when that's going to be, but it seems like they've been adding it to events and stuff like that. So maybe we just have to watch out for an event that might make it a little bit easier to get. But as of now, it's pretty difficult to get. And that's pretty much how you get Crystal 5 gear, and that's how you upgrade to Mystic. At the moment, we just have the base Mystic. There's no Mystic level 1, Mystic level 2, stuff like that. Not like Crystal gear. I hope it doesn't end up being that way, but eventually maybe it will, who knows. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. If you have enjoyed or found this helpful, please drop a like. It does help out the channel a ton, and hit that subscribe button. We're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers. I think we're about 200 subscribers away, so that's actually massive. So I do want to say huge appreciation to all of you guys watching, supporting, and all that good stuff. And if there's a video that you guys want me to do, or maybe a tutorial that I haven't covered, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll check it out. And on that note, I'll catch you all later.